An old woman, an outsider, lives alone in the forest. She harms no one and quietly devotes herself to the passion baking. Her favorite thing is to make gingerbread. One day, two vagabond children show up. They're filthy and look hungry. Shocked, the kind-hearted old woman takes them into the modest home. She gives them food and clean clothes. The children claim they have been abandoned by their parents. The old woman, though she doesn't have much, does everything she can to care for them. But after a while, she begins to notice that something isn't right. The boy is violent. He lashes out and destroys furniture when he doesn't get his way. The girl, on the other hand, is sly and manipulative. She knows exactly how to get what she wants from people. Soon, the old woman doesn't know what to do anymore. The children are true little devils. Eventually, she locks the boy in a cage because he's too dangerous. But the girl is already plotting revenge, and together with her brother, she hatches a plan. The old woman must die. Just as she's doing what she loves most, baking, the two children push her into the oven and leave her to burn alive. Her pitiful screams echo through the cabin while the children set the house on fire. Later, they tell everyone that the old woman was a child-eating witch, and that they barely escaped her clutches in time. Sounds familiar? It's Hansel and Gretel, but told from the witch's point of view. Maybe the woman wasn't evil. Maybe she was a kind old lady who was brutally murdered by disturbed children. Why am I telling you this story? Because I want to show you a fundamental truth about our world: the power of the narrative. Stories and how they are told have an enormous impact on us. Stories are not just entertainment, even if they can be. Stories are tools for us to navigate our moral compass. They are how we make sense of the world. We explain things, how we define what's normal. We learn stories at school. Our parents tell us how life works, what it means to live a good life. But there's one thing we often forget. What the world tells us isn't the truth. It's a story. You could even call it a lie. And depending on which version of that story you believe, it will shape your reality and ultimately your destiny. In this video, I'll show you how to take conscious control of your own narrative and how to avoid toxic ones. My name is Oliver McClendon. I'm an author and musician, and I explore the world of magic, the hidden, the power of words and music. My book, Crimson Crows, a story about a chosen band fighting against demonic forces, will be released soon. If that interests you, check out the link in the description below. There you can get more info about the book. But before we dive in how you can shape your own story, let's take a moment to understand the immense power of stories already living in our mind. Each of us carries hundreds of stories. Stories about who we are, what's possible, what we deserve. Some of these stories empower us. They give us hope, courage, and direction. Others are toxic. They keep us small, afraid, and stuck. Most people don't realize that they are the authors of their own lives. They believe the stories in their heads are facts. I'm not good enough. Life is hard. Success is only for the other people. But those aren't truths. They are stories, and stories can be rewritten. Think for a moment. What stories are you telling yourself about your life? Are you the hero of your own story or the victim? Are you the one making things happen, or do things happen to you? But before we go deeper into rewriting, we need to talk about the dark side of narrative. Because not everyone tells you a story that has your best interest at heart. The big question arises: are there powers that try to influence our narrative? Short answer, without diving too deep into conspiracy theories: have you been living under a rock? Of course they are. Every organization, company, government, family members or spouse wants to tell you what the narrative is. Who is the hero? Who is the victim? Who is the villain? Even within ourselves, different forces battle for control over our worldview. You're caught in a culture of war, and the battlefield is your mind. Corporations want to sell you their products. The state wants you to love your country. Big Brother wants you to stay a well-behaved, cheap, a useful cog in the machine. Here's the twisted part though. These powers are using the same tools that you can use. They understand the power of narrative better than most people. Hell, they have even entire departments just dedicated to propaganda. Let's look at an example. Advertising. A company just doesn't sell your product, they sell you a story about yourself. Buy this car and you're successful. Wear these clothes and you belong. Drink liquid death and you're cool. Man, I wish I had some liquid death right now. Putzifer, do we still have liquid death around here? Ah, shoot, it's not available in Germany, you say? Damn. Too bad though. I think that's also why many people feel like the world is bullshit. Because we're being fed bullshit. And most people actually believe in this fake world. Very few people see behind the mask. But here's where it gets interesting. These stories only work if you believe them. It's like believing in the Santa Claus, even though he isn't real. And they only work as long as you don't realize they're just stories. The moment you realize, this is just a story someone wants to tell me, that's the moment you take your power back. You stop being a passive consumer and become an active creator. It's like in The Matrix. The moment Neo realizes the world is a construct, he becomes the Übermensch because he can understand that reality can be bent. And he flies off like Superman. Whee! But here's the secret. You don't have to fight those forces, unlike the band Rage Against the Machine may recommend. You just have to create your own, stronger story. Because in the end, the story that wins is the one that carries the most emotion, the most meaning, the most hope. And who could tell a better story about your life than you? In short, your narrative is the most valuable thing you possess, protected with your life. Because the greatest power lies in how you tell your story. And you get to decide whether your life becomes a tragedy or a comedy. A quick example. Let's say your father was an alcoholic who beat you every day. He was a terrible dad. That's your backstory. Now let's take a look at two different narratives you could choose. Narrative 1. My dad was an alcoholic who abused me, and now I drink too. I am so traumatized, I've become just like him. My life is miserable. Narrative number 2. My dad was an alcoholic who abused me, so I will never touch alcohol. I'll do everything in my power to be the exact opposite of him. I'll be a loving father and bring joy to the people around me. My past was difficult, but it made me stronger. See the difference? Same past, completely different future. The only difference is the story you tell yourself, the way you write your life. And here's the most important insight. You have a choice. Every single day. You can start rewriting your story today. You don't have to wait for your circumstances to change. You don't have to wait for someone else to give you permission to be the hero. Just ask yourself one question. If your life were a book and you were the author, what would the next chapter be? Start writing it today, because your story is waiting to be told. If this video helped you, leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content about hidden forces that shape our lives. And don't forget, you are the author of your own story. Until next time, seeker of truth.